All right, how's it going? Welcome to the first episode of Don't Deep It. Um, so basically, I'm 24, uh, striving for success in all areas of my life. Um, Not necessarily in the conventional sense of the word, um, but just across the board, interpersonal relationships, psychological, intellectual, just looking, on my own journey to becoming my true self, if you will, and becoming whole and stable. And this first episode is pretty much just going to be about a little discussion just on a big mindset shift that I've made lately. Making lately big mindset shifts do not happen quickly. It is just a little bit every day, a little bit. It's just being conscious of what you're trying to achieve, and every day being conscious of that while you're making the small decisions throughout your day. Oh, something just made me angry, and you go, okay, conscious of that. I'm aware of this, but what is my ultimate goal? I like to remind myself when something pisses me off, as many things do all of us, you know, just for instance. And then I think, but how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? And is this beneficial towards my progress? Um, to my goals, you know what I mean, to the life I want to live, to the mindset I want to reach, to the state of being I want to reach, and I remind myself, oh, okay, this little thing, something someone said fucking pissed me off, and I'm like, okay, but wait, hold up, why are we angry? Do you want to feel this way? What's the perspective here? How are you thinking about the situation that is angering you? How is your ego coming into play? Is this just triggering something hidden away in your shadow side, and now your ego is flaring up because it's trying to protect that from coming forth, and convince you and delude you in uh, every which way it does. All right, there's a lot of topics to unpack there, but we'll slowly get around to that throughout this whole entire YouTube channel. This is the very first video, so there really is no rush. But I'd like to kick off this first episode with just something I've started to find is monumental, and that is recognizing whether you're in a state of scarcity, like in a scarcity mindset, um, and starting to shift from a place of scarcity and lack towards a place of abundance and generosity. So yeah, I think this is one of the biggest lessons anyone can learn throughout their lives. This that's what I uh, that's a theory of mine. I have yet to learn them all, so I can't tell you that for sure. But I feel like with all of the self help I've read and all of the podcasts I've listened to and all of the interviews with extremely successful people who are on their deathbeds, and they're asked, what is one thing you wish you could have done with your life? Like, do you have any regrets? And nearly all of them say in some way or another that they wish they just gave more. And that's one thing I think, growing up in Western culture, or westernized culture, however you want to look at it. Um, like myself, I grew up in South Africa, uh, in Cape Town, and it's quite Western. It's super Western. It's really modern. it's got an extremely unique culture as a whole. It's extremely unique, but it's English language. Um, there's other languages, but English is one of them. For me, it was my first language. For everyone I met, it was most people I met, it was their first language, and quite like Western ideals. Quite like just yeah. I guess that's how it was. It was just it's quite a Western place. I think a lot of British influence, a lot of American influence. Um, so I feel like with that in mind, just from that perspective, because that's really all I can speak from is my own perspective. Um, just growing up in a Western influenced society, I feel like, or in a capitalistic society, I don't know enough about these things to go in depth. Um, but I feel like from the moment you're born and raised in these societies, um, there's a lot of this idea that your journey through life is onwards and upwards. It's that direction, and it's climbing the hill, and it's climbing the mountain, and you need to get to that peak over there, way in the distance, the peak where you have a house and you have kids and you have all all degrees of success in terms of the way everyone but you has defined it, which is crazy, right? Um, so it's up there. This is you're not where you need to be. On the other side of this, there's almost a message of like that's what your life needs to look like one day, and you're not where you need to be. Your life isn't good enough. Your bank account doesn't have enough in it. You don't know enough. You yourself, you're not where you should be in any aspect of your life. And life is about getting to where you should be. It's up there. It's over there. It's on that peak, right? Um, More stuff. Buy more stuff. Like capitalist society is obviously going to be like, this is the journey. It's that way. Buy more. Attain more. Build more, right? Like build businesses or buy stuff, be a consumer, and I feel like that just drills into your head that everything you want, everything I feel human beings innately want is peace, right? Happiness, love, you know, and you're almost taught that the only way you'll ever get these things is if you outsource them, outsource your self-worth, outsource self-love, outsource happiness. Like the only way you're going to get these things is if you reach the top of this peak. Martha Beck, incredible. Shout out to Martha Beck. Incredible mind, incredible person. From what I've seen, all the content, all of her content, please go check her out. Wow, I'm sure she can describe amazing experiences to you that I could never. Um, she's got a book, looking at it right now, called The Way of Integrity. Incredible. She describes this mountain as Mount Delectable. Interesting stuff. Really interesting stuff. And uses the story of Dante's Inferno and basically really, really clearly and eloquently encapsulates the story or this idea, this idea that I think is so fundamental, and that is we're all born being told and indoctrinated into thinking that our journey is this way, and everything we could ever want is over there on the peak, and your whole journey, your whole entire life, you're just You have to climb it. You have to, you know, fucking get your hands and get all dirty and be part of the crowd of people all just greedily trying to climb this mountain. Um, and it's all completely wrong, because really the journey towards everything you could ever want is inwards. It's inwards and into your own depths, through your own inferno, as referenced in the book, reference from the book, Dante's Inferno. It's into your own inferno, to face all the things you have hidden in your shadow side, to face yourself, to dissolve, to become one with the entirety of yourself, and to become your true self. And it's through your own personal hell that you get to heaven, or a heavenly state of being. And that is the only way. It's the only way. Money cannot buy you happiness. Money cannot buy you gratitude. It can't buy you successful, deep, loving, meaningful, interpersonal relationships, connection. Can't buy you health. Can't buy you happiness. It can't buy perspectives. It can't buy choices. I'm sure in some ways you could, argue a few of these points. But I mean them in maybe more of a spiritual way, if you will, or a psychological way. And you can have all these things before you even touch a dime. And I'm sure there's extremes. If you're starving in a rural community, let's say, and you're starving to death, or you're in a country that's getting bombed, things like that, like, yeah, okay, it's a privilege to sit here where I am now, safely in a room, and discuss the idea that money can't buy you happiness, as if there are no other boundaries other than the ones within my own mind. Because some people do have real boundaries, like bombs and death, and there's and starvation and illness, and I could go on and on. But if you are sitting somewhere safe where you don't have to worry about any of these things, and your worries lie within yourself, what an incredible place to be. And everything you could ever want, there isn't really any boundaries, physical boundaries, or circumstantial boundaries, in the way between you and everything you could ever want, all that happiness, all that abundance. And this is where the switch between the scarcity mindset and an abundance mindset comes into play. And this is one of the most fundamental lessons I've learned in my life so far. And it's something I'm really, really trying to adopt here, because it is crucial, I think. And it's scary at the same time, because you grow up in the society and they give you a blueprint, they give you a map, they go, here's where you are, it's not the right place, and here's where you should be, and this is the right place, and this is the place where you have a house and a car, and it's a nice car and it's a nice house, and you have a nice job, and and they put your little backpack on you and they go, okay, off you go, you insufficient, unworthy thing, right? Go on your journey. You know where you should be, and life is a journey to getting where society or your culture tells you you should be, and only then, when you're there, are you worthy of acceptance and love and happiness and peace, and that never comes, and then you die wondering why you're depressed, because you have a nice, maybe you do get a nice house and you get a nice car and you have all this money and you have all these physical choices, but your internal state of being is the complete opposite of your external state. You may live in a mansion, but you're severely unhappy and traumatized by yourself, and tortured and depressed and lonely, so, and it's not to, I think there's also a mistake that can be made, and that's to villainize these things, to villainize wanting a nice house or a nice car, or, like, that's normal too. And and it can be done healthily. You can want these things in a healthy way, you know. So to get back on track, hope you're not in a rush if you're watching this. To get back on track, you want to take a look at, like, although it may be scary having this simple, clear blueprint that's been installed into your head every single day, your entire life, probably up until now, that you are not where you should be, and your path is clear, and it's buying a car, and it's getting a house, and it's getting a job, and it's so easy. You just have to do ABC, and then you'll be happy. And you've got this clear map. Everybody put your little backpack on when you're a kid, and they give you a little map, and they're like, go on your adventure. There you go. It's that way, and you're not where you need to be yet. Whereas obviously, as we know, you have everything that you could ever need. You have all the love, all the abundance, all the gratitude, all the happiness, all the peace. It's yours already. No one can give it to you. No one can take it from. It's there. It's here. That's where it all comes from anyway. Where else? Where are you going to get it? Where are you going to find it? Under a rock somewhere? In a treasure chest? Open your Lamborghini and oh my god, the happiness? What the fuck are you doing there? Holy shit, I've been looking for you my entire fucking life. Is it in your mansion? Is it in the swimming pool? Who knows, right? But these people never find it because you're looking for it externally. And I think there's also the mindset of that. You have to achieve it. It's like, why can't you be happy right now? Just because. Choose to. Try it. Just choose to. Why does it have to be so complicated? And why do you have to do so much to get it? Why do you have to buy so much? Why is everyone telling you have to buy so much and achieve so much and be so much to be happy? You know what I mean? Like, why can't you be happy right now? You can. It might take some practice. It does. And it is a practice. Happiness is a practice. Every single day. It's a practice. It's a daily practice of managing those little micro choices, those little thoughts, managing yourself, becoming aware of yourself is extremely important first. But that's in itself is a whole other can of worms to unpack. But for me, a big shift has been changing from this indoctrinated mindset of scarcity, this feeling of never feeling always like I'm not where I should be. Every day, if I go to the gym, I'm going to catch up. I'm going to get closer to where I should be. You're working hard because you're not good enough, and you feel like you need to get to how good you should be right now, which doesn't make sense because how you are right now is how you are right now. It's as real as this book. You are who you are right now. There is no should be. There just is. Should be, what do you mean should be, right? It doesn't, for who? Who should you be that for right now? For who? And unless you can close your eyes and push really hard and somehow fucking magically transform, you're not right now. So accept yourself for who you are, because You are just who you are right now, and you are where you are right now. And switching from that mindset of like, I'm not doing this because I feel like I need more, because I feel like I don't have enough, to I'm thankful for everything that I have. I have more than I could ever need or want to be happy. Everything I could ever need, I already have. Now, what can I give? Here's a question. What can you give? Anything about that way? Said, what can you take? What can I get? What can I get? Well, stuff. I've always been told I need more stuff. What can you give? Right? No capitalist society, not to just villainize capitalism, but no Western society really raises youth going, oh, you know what? Actually, you have everything you could ever need right now. No, everybody instills you with a need. I need more. I'm lacking. I'm complete. I'm insufficient until I reach these societal goals, these cultural goals, where obviously that's not true. That's not true at all. And making this switch to a mindset of abundance and generosity, I have everything I could ever need. Now, what can I give? Right? You once you start to make that shift, it's so many things we do are counterintuitive. You know, a lot of the time, the need for wanting more closes you off to being able to receive more, and you're unwilling to give. If everybody's wanting more and everyone's unwilling to give, who's going to get? You know, if that makes sense. I don't know. Think about it. So it's counterintuitive because a lot of the time, you realize, like, if you keep going down this journey of self-discovery and self-development and listening to all of your podcasts or whatever, reading your books, you realize this story comes up over and 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 over. And that's, how can you give more? How can you give? What are you good at? Uniquely, maybe, right? What are you good at? What's your gift? Right? There's a saying, I've got it on my wall. Yeah, there it is. The meaning of life is to find your gift. And the purpose of life is to give it away. And this is fundamental. And it's something you need to practice, because there's so many. I've listened to hours of podcasts where you hear all these one-liners. Wow, that's amazing. This guy, he just said that, and it's like all these, but it's almost like just eating little bits of chocolate. You get this little dopamine hit. You're like, oh, that's great. He said that. It's sick. But then you just keep doing you just go back to your life, and nothing's changed, because you haven't understood anything. You've heard it, right? You've heard it, and you intellectually process it with your mind, but you don't feel the shift. That takes time, loads of time and practice to manifest a shift and create real, true knowing, understanding, right? Not just hearing, listening, and agreeing and being like, oh, wow, that fucking one-liner this guy just said this, in this podcast I watched about the 7 things you need to do to become financially successful in the next 3 years, like, again, just just, where you need to be, crazy shit. So yeah, focus on shifting from you don't have enough to you do have enough. You have everything. You have more than enough. And what can you give? Fundamental. Like, for me, I like to work out. And for years, I'm working out because I'm not where I want to be. But the action stays the same. And if I change my perspective and I go, right now, I'm somewhere where the chubby little me, the chubby little 12-year-old me, would never have fucking ever imagined being. Right? So right now you're where you would have dreamed of being. So you are where you want to be. And if you where you want to be, great. Bring yourself grab some fucking earth, right? Grab some earth. Fucking grab the facts. You're here right now. This is real. Everything, there's no past, there's no future. You're just here, present, right? That's all that exists. And it's irrefutable. And from today forward, you have enough. And now what can you give? I'm where I want to be. Or at least you are where you are. And the perspective you have now is, okay, what can I give? What can I do now? From a place of having enough. From a place of abundance, what can I give? Right? Focus on it. Like, when I go to the gym now, I try and focus on, okay, like, I'm where I want to be. I feel good about myself. I'm where I want to be. I'm proud of myself. I'll fucking work my ass off just to get to where I am now. I work my ass off. And it's not bad to want to be better. Right? And then focusing, okay, what can I give? How can I grow? Let's go. And then that weight lifts, that pressure. I feel like we live life under pressure, and it's so counterintuitive because the more pressure you put on yourself to achieve things, the more pressure you're actually putting on yourself to avoid things. Because now you feel like the stakes are even higher, the pressure's even higher. Now you want to procrastinate even more as a coping mechanism. You want to procrastinate because the pressure is so high that you feel like you're an absolute failure if you don't do perfectly at the thing that you want to do. So now you're absolutely fucking terrified of even attempting it, because to attempt it would expose you to the risk of failure at said thing, and that might offer up a bit of so-called proof that you're right and you are a failure and your fears are true and your limiting beliefs, they're true. And no one wants to fucking do that. You want to avoid it. And then you get into this vicious cycle of so much pressure. I need to read more books. I need to do this. I need to do that. I have to do this. And then you realize you're not doing it. You realize you're not doing these things for a reason, right? Or maybe you don't, but you realize you're not doing it. You feel like you're trying to push a stubborn mule. It doesn't want to fucking move, no matter. And then you push harder, and the mule resists more. And that mule is a part of yourself that doesn't want to fucking move, because you're saying you need to do this, because if you don't do this, you're a fucking failure. And it's going, fuck me. Well, then if I do this and I don't actually achieve or do it well, then I'm a failure, right? That's what you just did. You just fucking told me. Instead of going, look, man, we've got it. We're good. we're good. You're good. You're good. You got everything you fucking need. Everything you need to succeed, you already have it. You have it. Now it's about how you use it. And you go, okay, we're good. We're good. We got everything we fucking need. Now what can I do? Now there isn't that pressure of being a failure on the other side, or whatever the pressure is. And switching to that mindset of abundance and that mindset of generosity is a key fundamental shift in achieving the release of that pressure. And I think it's so important, especially when you're young or at any age. So important to realize, you have everything you could want already. You have everything you need already to achieve all the things you actually truly desire.